What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to you. I wanted to bring you a video about a woman, a divorced woman, who recorded herself making birthday cupcakes for herself. Well, for her kids to be able to wish her happy birthday and sing to her and that kind of stuff. And she's kind of making a big spectacle out of it. She's trying to, of course, get attention. Just it's got sad music in the background and everything else. And this poor lady is divorced and is making her own cupcakes for her birthday so her kids can celebrate with her. And she has no one to be with. And really, it's kind of a nod to what is going on now in today's world. I mean, everything is about how can I make something look about poor me? How can I feel sorry for myself? People love their own hell. They really, truly do. And this woman is definitely no exception. But guys, watch this.
How to be brave? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? Watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away.
The first thing, number one, that I find interesting is she is up there playing the sad music and making cupcakes for her birthday. And for supposedly for her kids to be able to sing and celebrate with her. Number one, when you're divorced, there's a good chance you're going to spend at least one or two birthdays by yourself. You're not going to have anyone. Or broke it up in some way with, so the fact of the matter, I mean, I spent numerous birthdays alone throughout my life when I was not with people or sometimes I'd have friends or whatever, but it was not a big deal. We have got this notion in today's world that, I mean, I hate to pick on women, but women and people of color and immigrants and they're victims. They're victims. They're not victims. Not any more than anyone else. And when you get on camera and you're showing the world, your kids and the entire world, whoever watches your video, and I think there's like 30 million views at this point of her video on TikTok. But I mean, you're saying that's the way to be. Instead of being an adult and realizing I'm really not that important. I mean, you are, but you aren't. It doesn't cross people's minds to say, you know what? It's probably not good for me to feel bad for myself. Probably not the best thing for me to do. If I want to spend that with people, maybe talk to people and say, hey, look, my birthday's coming up. Would you like to hang out? And you might have a lack of skills that of connecting with other people. And I shouldn't say just skills. It's not really a skill. It's more of just a something inside of you that connects with others, that's willing to let down your guard to a degree and connect with other people. And it's really bad in today's world that we got to feel sorry for women And almost 80% of divorces are initiated by the woman. But we gotta feel sorry for her when she doesn't have anyone around her to make her a birthday cake. No, we truly don't. We truly don't need to feel sorry for her at all. No more than we do a demand. But God, could you imagine if I made a video, detailing how lonely I am, and I gotta make, with sad music, and I gotta make cupcakes for my kids to be able to celebrate my birthday and everything else? No, it would get laughed at. And that's where we are in today's world. We laugh at men when men say, hey, look, and men are like 80% of all suicides. And almost 70% of those are middle-aged men. But we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that at all. We talk about, all these poor women who initiate majority of divorces, that played up in front of the camera to get attention, to get that fixed, that they hit. They want to get that feeling, and they get it. And that's what they do. And that's what their life is about. Jumping from one friend to another, maybe one guy to another, until she gets a little bit older and, and maybe doesn't have the options that she has now. And one thing also I want to talk about is that women believe that they get divorced. I'm going to get divorced. I'm not happy. I'm not, things aren't right. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not, I got 2 or 3 kids, but I'm not fulfilled. So, and could you imagine if the man said that? Well, I'm not fulfilled. I want a divorce. I want to live my best life. I want to get to know me. I'm gone. Bye. That would be somebody running away from his responsibilities. But not for a woman. Not at all. We're like, you know what? Yeah, we get it. We totally get it. You want to live your best life. You're not fulfilled. So go ahead. Go ahead and do whatever you want. Jump around from one relationship to another. And then when things don't work out the way you want them to, you make videos showing yourself as some poor victim. And one thing also we've really truly got to understand, when you're above the age of 40 and you got a couple kids, even if you're still really good looking and in shape and everything else, you don't have the options you had when you were 25. I'm sorry, you don't. Guys, and I'm not being mean to women, but guys don't want you. I'm not saying that, you're not worth anything or whatever, but guys don't look at you the same way. A 40-year-old man is not going to look at a 40-year-old woman with 2 or 3 kids in tow from a previous relationship or marriage or whatever. They're not going to look at it the same way they look at some 25, 30-year-old with no kids, even if they're relatively the same as far as looks and everything else. She's 40. She's old, 10, 15 years older. She has kids from another relationship. And men look at that and they're like, oh, number one, I'm taking on that responsibility. Number two, if this relationship ends, what's going to happen with the kids? I'm going to invest in those kids, emotionally invest in those kids, and I may lose them if something happens. And especially if she initiated the divorce from Rex, you can rest assured you're not being told even a quarter of the truth of what happened. And but we have gone in this society, we have gone to a place to where we had to feel sorry for the woman. We had to feel sorry for everyone that's supposedly weak. That's not a white man or what, But it's funny, like I said, the people committing suicide are overwhelmingly white men. But we don't talk about that. I mean, could you imagine if 80 or just over 80% of all suicides were females? Could you imagine? That'd be all over the news. But yeah, no one really looks at that the other way around. I mean, right now, one thing in my own life that I've had to go through is losing a parent. I'm at that age where I'm a couple of years away from the 50 mark, and we start losing people in our lives from childhood, parents, uncles, aunts, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, you have to go through what you go through. And the best way to do it is not to film yourself and put it on TikTok. Feel what you got to feel and deal with it yourself. I mean, I know it sounds harsh, but you have to deal with what you have to deal with. I mean, if you got to talk to somebody, some counselor or whatever, fine. But you have to deal with it yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's with yourself. And you've got to deal with it. You can't push it off for somebody else to deal with. Those are your feelings. So you've got to deal with yourself by yourself. There's no other way to do it. And the best thing to do is not amplify emotions. Don't take something like the sadness of divorce and everything else and amplify. They put sad music in the background. Number one, you're doing it for attention. But number two, that's not good for your emotional health or your kids or anyone else. That's not good. I mean, that's not something you do or should do. I mean, all you're doing is trying to get attention, and all that's going to do, if it impacts you or impacts your kids or impacts other people, it's negative. I mean, you're showing that you can't overcome. Oh, poor me. I mean, we're not having a Rocky moment. You're defeated. You're sad. You have no other options. Yeah. And one thing I was thinking about was, and again, not picking on women solely, but maybe you don't have the options you used to have. You don't have the options. And you got to come to grips with that. And maybe people need to understand, women need to understand in a lot of ways that they don't have the options they used to have. And I'm not saying that, you could say, well, that means the women don't have a way out from abusive relationships or whatever. Majority of them aren't. They're just upset because they're not being fulfilled. They're not living their best life. They're not doing for themselves the way they think they ought to do. Women have been told that, live your best life. Go do what's right for you. Men have been told, do the right thing. Take care of other people. Take care of yourself. Take care of your house. Don't skirt your responsibilities. Now, I'm not saying that men haven't. They have. But what I'm saying is that we celebrate women that do that. but we don't, man. We put the men down. I mean, just in daily life, we put them down. We hold them to a higher standard than women. And I'm gonna get up my soapbox for this, but like I said, I've had to go through my own stuff. And best thing for people to do is to realize that truly nobody is in your corner. You have got to come to grips with yourself. You've got to work on yourself. You've got to when I mean work on yourself, you can't change yourself, but just notice what is happening. Notice where you are, and know that you can't do anything. All you can do is see it. And once you see some of the things about yourself, some of the weaknesses or whatever that you want to change, they will start to change. But you have to see it. That's it. That's the only job, is to see things that are happening. And I mean, and truly recognize, without getting mad, without feeling sorry for yourself, without whatever, even if you're married or whatever, you don't, especially if you're a man, you truly don't have the support. You don't. It's not a bad thing. It kind of makes you face what you have to face and become a stronger version of yourself in the long run. But guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.